My M39. Fiance and I, F33. Hardly talk anymore. When I, F33, met my fiance, I was visiting Canada. He's British but was living in Canada as he works in medicine, and he found a good job in community. We will call him Bart, M39. I was never one for relationships. I lived alone and traveled for work. I am an artist and have been largely very independent as a person. Bart is one of those reserved types that you have to get to know for them to open up. I found him to be sweet and funny. We did long distance for 6 months, and then I made his city my home base and unofficially started living with him even though I traveled still for work. I came home to him, and it started to feel awesome. We got engaged and have been happy. Then right before Thanksgiving, I am from the States. He started getting quiet even around me. He likes to sit in his chair and read his science journals, but chat with me at the same time as I draw or write. But he would entirely tune me out. We spent Christmas with my best friend. I am not close with my family and he is not with his. And my best friend asked about the wedding. Bart was so excited to talk about it, all the details and the like. I was never a wedding girl, but I'm excited to marry him. But when we retired to bed, he was quiet again even if I brought up the wedding. He won't hold me when we sleep anymore, and I barely get a peck on the lips when he leaves or returns. I tried to bring it up and he'd just say work has him stressed and not to make a fuss. But he seems sad half the time he's home and distantly cold the rest of the time. He is my first love and I want to marry this guy, but is this spelling the end of us before we really begin? Tilder, my fiancé is weirdly distant from me and I don't know how to fix this. Is this the end? Edit. The comments have been helpful. I texted him that I postponed my upcoming trip to visit a friend and want to have a nice intimate dinner. I told him I will cook his favorite meal if he brings the wine on his way home from work, and we can talk. I prefaced that it's important and to let me know if tonight works, or if we can reschedule for some time this week or in the coming days. He agreed to tonight and seemed cheerful over text about it, saying dinner sounds lovely and it's just what we need. Fingers crossed. I have to go grocery shopping and hopefully we can chat and have a meaningful conversation. Update. I, F33, met my fiancé Bart, M39, when I was visiting Canada for a gig. I am an artist and performer and travel a lot for work even now. He's British but lives in Canada working as a surgical resident. I think I got that right. At a hospital. It's a stressful job, but he has always been a stoic and steady person, even under great pressure with everyone but me, and he usually melts into my mushy, doting beloved when we are alone. We got engaged because having a wedding was really important to him. I can do without the lavish wedding and the ring, but he and his family really want us to get married. He made it clear he would never force me to do anything that I didn't want, but I told him that I am down if he wants a wedding, and we have been very happy. He did a romantic, thought-out proposal, and I love my ring. Never was a ring girl, but he had this one custom made with his and my birthstones flanking a beautiful diamond. I don't know much about jewelry, with an inscription inside. Things shifted swiftly before the holidays. I outlined it more in my other post, but he was distant, quiet, and stressed. He wouldn't even hold me when we sleepy more, and I would only get an emotionless peck of a kiss when he left or returned the house. I tried to bring it up and he'd just say work has him stressed out a bit or dismiss my concern with darling, do try not to make a fuss. Almost dramatically. He later told me he tried to say it jokingly, but the humor never landed. I simply had had enough, and I texted him that I postponed my upcoming trip to visit a friend in the States, where I am from, and want to have a nice intimate dinner. I told him I will cook his favorite meal if he brings the wine on his way home from work and we can talk. I prefaced that it's important, but we can reschedule for some time this week or in the coming day if needed. He agreed to that night and seemed cheerful over text about it, so that's what we did. I cooked and he brought wine and he seemed to relax a bit and even shared a chuckle or two with me. It was almost like I could see him become a small glimmer of his old self again. He mentioned that with his and my work, we never do this anymore, and this was a nice surprise. I didn't say much, just listened to him, trying to glean any information about what our troubles might have been rooted in. He noticed I was quiet, and I finally took a deep breath and explained why we needed to talk. Everything I said in my posts, and that I was worried for him. If he is depressed or anxious, that's okay, and we can work through it. I told him I love him dearly and want him to be okay, but I miss him. We have talked, he's been super distant, and seems sad and distracted all the time. I feel lonely and miss our emotional and physical intimacy, etc. I mentioned if we can't talk through times like these, then maybe we shouldn't get married until we can. He was silent and listened to me patiently, and I could see he was taking me seriously, and then he flushed bright red when I mentioned not getting married. He didn't say anything for a long moment, seeming to calm down quietly as he ate and finally looked at me again and said he will do anything to fix us. Anything I ask, he will do. He said he had noticed I had picked up on his moods but didn't realize it had gotten so bad, and he was sorry. Work has him run ragged. His family, mostly mother, they are not close, is starting fresh drama, and his brother is divorcing Bart's best friend since childhood, and many other things Bart never told me was happening. He said with all my new gigs and our wedding coming up, he didn't want to stress me with his burdens on top of that. He said I am so upbeat and cheerful, he didn't ever want to see me lose that smile. I told him we are partners, and if I wanted to be shielded from everything, I'd not be in a relationship. I love him and want to be his equal partner. We agreed to push the wedding back to later next year and try to spend more time on us this year. I suggested counseling for us, both individually and as a couple, and he quickly agreed. We cuddled on the couch for the first time in so long and fell asleep like that. It felt amazing to have him back in my arms as we sleepily chatted and laughed. Even as I type this, I am sighing of relief. He's my first love, and I thought I was losing him. Thank you for helping me come up with a plan to speak with him about it and let my boundaries be known. I was shaking the whole time, nervous about his reaction, but I don't think I could imagine it going any better. TLDR, my fiancé and I finally had a heart-to-heart. Our wedding is postponed, but we are very happy again.